opinion on Ayuik? Because we were talking about Purdy. I think a lot of people were worried that Purdy would limit a player like Ayuik, and we're kind of seeing the opposite. We're kind of seeing him shine right now under Purdy with the chemistry that he has with him.
Yeah, I think Ayuik has 100% broken out. I think he broke out in a smaller capacity last year where he ascended into playing like a top 15, 20-ish receiver. And then this year he's playing like a top 5 receiver, honestly. He wins on every route this year. He has such great urgency. They talk about landmarks. Eric Branch asked that nice question. Ayuik hits his landmarks and is so quarterback friendly with how he runs his routes to show the quarterback that he's open. And then him and Purdy have an innate chemistry unlike anything I've seen from a 49ers quarterback and wide receiver. They play so fast with each other. They play with such incredible timing. Purdy's anticipation playing with Ayuik is so incredible. He has such trust for where Ayuik is going to be, and he has such faith in Ayuk's ability to make him right on where he puts the ball. And it's so cool to see them playing really, really well together. I think that the idea that Ayuk's issues, and I discussed some of this briefly, but I guess it never came up in the shows that I was doing as much. But some of Ayuk's issues with Jimmy was more of a timing thing rather than, oh, Jimmy doesn't have the arm strength to take advantage of Ayuik. That was, I think, a narrative out there, which was very false. I think that it was always like, oh, Trey Lance is going to capitalize with Ayuik because of his arm strength. But no, it was always going to be about the timing because Ayuik is a precise route runner. And we're seeing that Purdy, who plays with great timing and anticipation, which Jimmy didn't play with, is able to take advantage of that. And I'm not so sure Trey Lance would have been able to either with his stronger arm because we hadn't seen him play with a level of precise timing or anticipation up to that point. But that's a moot topic. I think that's honestly irrelevant. And then in regard to Ayuk's breakout, yeah, absolutely. I think everybody was expecting it 2 years ago. He wasn't ready for it then. Last year was a great emergence for him to just get confident. And now this year, yeah, I think he's playing like one of the 5 best receivers in football right now. I've watched a good amount of the people that would be in that conversation, and again, confidently saying it, I think that Brandon Ayuk this year is one of the 5 best receivers in football so far, for sure.
Do you think he's playing at a better level than CeeDee Lamb right now?
Yeah.
NFL team, Cardinals, with only 2 weapons speaks volumes to our potential on offense. Brock is also becoming a weapon as well. I agree. I was very shocked. I think Kittle was targeted on that 4th down. Debo, I think, got 1 or 2 targets. But yeah, it was definitely mostly a Christian McCaffrey and Ayuik game. And I'm kind of hypothesizing that it'll be similar. Maybe I could see a big Debo game because I think Yak will be important because the Cowboys are so bottom of the league at preventing that. But I think it'll be another big Christian McCaffrey game. But I think that that's pretty common on this team where there's so many options. I always, I don't play fantasy, but I have a friend who does. And they're like, you never want to choose a 49ers player because like Ayuik can have the best game ever this week and then the next week get 3 targets. And so I think just with so many stars, that makes sense. I don't think it's going to be super common that there's going to be games where all of them go off because there's just like not enough. Like we have so many Pro Bowlers or almost Pro Bowlers, or because I think Ayuik is Pro Bowl caliber. I'd also love to talk to you. This is side note-ish, but I think Deebo Samuel is a number 1 wide receiver. I think he is the best wide receiver on this team. I think he has been. And I see this a lot within the 49ers community is like kind of Ayuik being that guy. And he's definitely taking that. I feel like this year I actually see him taking that step. But sometimes I felt like in the past, there's been previous years where fans have kind of been like, oh, he's taking that step now. And I felt like there were certain moments that maybe he didn't like take it there. Like there was just never that like exact catch at the right moment, that exact, Debo like has stood out. Debo has performed so well. I do think Ayuik is having that season now. But you can address the question before whatever I just said. Do you think that Brock is becoming an offensive offensive weapon? And do you think that it's exciting that the 49ers were able to win using basically only two of their skill position players?
The skill position players, I think it just so happened. I think you described that really well with just how usage gets split because the Niners have so many good players. And then in regard to Brock becoming a weapon, I mean, anytime you have a quarterback that can go 20 of 21 in a game, he's absolutely a weapon.
Yeah, breaking Steve Young's record. I mean, I've been extremely
21
impressed.
and 22.
Yes, I've been extremely impressed with Brock, and I have been a bit of a Brock skeptic this entire time. Going back to the Kyle Shanahan speaking so much more highly on Brock, I was one of those people this offseason with his elbow injury and with everything happening, and Sam Darnold being the backup quarterback, I was like, we should not trade Trey. I was very against that, and I feel like I've really had to eat my words as the season has started because not only has Brock looked so good, his elbow has not looked very inhibited at all. Maybe I did think that Thursday night game he looked a little shaky, but he was also blitzed like an unreal amount. So I think it was probably more of that than his elbow.